Well, Nigeria Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative, NEITI, that's on our next story now, has revealed that oil and gas companies that are operating in the country owe the federal government about $6 billion, that's $6.71 billion, and 66.4 billion naira in unpaid revenues as of June this year. That's 2024. This was disclosed in NEITI's 2022-2023 Independent Oil and Gas Industry Report during its unveiling in Abuja. Now, NEITI's Executive Secretary, Dr. Ogbonnaya Oji, has highlighted the need for improved compliance and transparency in the industry. The report has showed outstanding royalties, gas flare penalties, taxes, and VATs that are owed to Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission and the Federal Inland Revenue Services. What do you have to say about an economy that is biting at the moment, and the debts that we are even owing as a country, and having in mind all of these monies that some oil and gas companies are owing the country?
So the big question is, why are they owing? If my production is not effective, the fact that you have laws for me to pay tax, my business is not working because of insecurity, right? Pipeline vandalization. So we must also look at the remote causes why the oil and gas companies are not meeting up to their taxations and their revenues. Now, of course, we also know some companies that are very, what do you call it? What do you call that footballer? Abidi Pele, right? They know how to dribble and maneuver. Maradona, right? Thank you. Maradona is known for soccer. That can Maradona their ways, you know, in terms of taxation, in terms of doing their needful. They are failing, you know, intentionally even in their social corporate responsibilities, you know, to communities. So I will want to encourage that for companies, most of them are having challenges. We knew that. Like, for instance, Ajip has been sold to Owando, right? So if Ajip is owing the federal government, do you expect them to pay? Again, that debt will almost be like bad debts, because Owando may not want to inherit that debt, that liability, to a greater extent.
But they don't have option. Once you buy the asset of a company,
you buy the liability. You know, that's in the area where things are done righteously, if I will use that word. You know, because you find a system, because they have sold it to Owando, the indebtedness of NAOC, for instance. I'm not saying they're indebted, because we never found the records of companies that are indebted. So we are just using it as a case study, so that NAOC could not say they are owing. You know, so I want to request that, with all fairness, as a government, let us try and protect the investment of our people, not just in the oil and gas. Because if my business is doing well and you are asking me for taxation, for revenue, I'll be glad, I'll be happy to pay. But in this case where I have to now go and borrow money from another source just to meet up my obligation with government revenues and tax, you know, is not too healthy.
Do you know the funny part of it? Some of these companies that you're saying might not be paying these royalties or whatever because of the state of their finance at the moment. There are countries, some of them might be foreign companies. Now, these foreign companies in their own countries, can they do the same thing?
No. You see, that's
can they owe their government this much and not want to pay because they feel like they are not making enough to pay, and they cannot borrow to pay?
The kind of challenges we have here. For instance,
it's not down to the challenges.
No, let me come. You know, we talked about taxation last time here, and I said the fact that you go to America, citizens are paying tax, is not applicable in Nigeria, because in America, government provide for her citizens.
Ambassador, please listen to the aspect I'm looking at, right? I'm looking at the aspect where you said their finance might not be enough to pay these royalties to the government, and they cannot go and borrow to then meet up government obligations.
No, I didn't get. Maybe you didn't get me right. Those
were your statements.
No, I said that, for instance, I gave an instance. I didn't. This
is an instance that I'm giving. I'm making reference
let me hear you.
Instance.
Okay, let me hear you.
I'm hinging on your instance, the example that you made.
Okay, let me hear you.
And I'm saying that some of these same companies, for the same reason of not having enough finance to meet up with government obligations, will not be allowed in certain climes to continue with that. Okay, let's even look at some of the reasons that they are. Let's look at gas flaring in the first place. We know what this is doing. Some people might not know, but this is very detrimental to our environment.
And you cannot hold government liable or blame government for gas flare. You can only hold
these companies
liable.
So if now we have analyzed this gas flaring of a thing, and we have realized that even the penalties that the government is asking them to pay is very minute. Why people have been complaining that we need to increase it. That this is something that has been there for years. This particular amount, it is minute compared to the environmental degradation that this is causing. So if the amount for gas flare, the penalty for gas flare is that minute, then why are companies even owing to that level? But Ambassador, you continue. But let's bring Barrister Omai into the conversation.
You people have already said it all. Because there are laws. Yeah. That prohibits companies, oil and gas companies, from engaging in gas flaring. Gas flaring itself is an offense. Now, if a company engages in it and government finds them culpable and says pay, you can't be raising we shall not be arguing, raising the issue of security, because it is not the issue of security that made them to flare the gas. To flare the gas. So they have to pay. Now the question is, why wouldn't they pay? Why are they not paying? That's one. Taxes. When a company enters into a country, you're expected to pay your tax. Not so. And you have accepted you pay your tax. So why haven't you paid? Haven't you been selling your products? Have you not been working?
Now, you want a response?
No, I'm just I'm just giving my opinion. You are not those oil and gas spokesperson. Do you understand? So I really don't think that they have any excuse on why they should not pay the money they are owing federal government.
Well, I think there are excuses. What are those excuses? One is still the bad attitude of Nigerians who are saddled with the responsibility of demanding
the money,
these taxations. Ordinarily, with the oil company alone, they will want to pay this tax. But you will see somebody in government, somebody in the agencies of recovery of this money, will prefer to get his own share and give them what do you call it?
Waiver.
Give they go ahead.
Yes.
Well, since you cannot pay for now, okay, just find us something.
But at the end of the day, it's still not a waiver because it's in the record.
At least they will allow them to continue operations.
So, but if they know that's the case, why can't the company, observe some level of fidelity by saying, understanding that they are owing government? You pay it directly into the federal government account. Instead of trying to cut corners to
talking about all of these things, all of